So I'm in the process of retrofitting a car stereo that I had laying around to my old 70s Zenith record player, and I just want to do a quick video on how I did that. So essentially this is a Zenith vinyl player that's got the 8-track and everything. The 8-track player doesn't work, so what I'm going to be doing today is utilizing the the tape function on this. This has a mode selector, so it's nice. It's got the phono for the record player, AM, FM stereo, tape. So I'm not going to be using the tape player because it doesn't work, obviously. And as much as I'd love to use this thing on a regular basis, I just don't listen to vinyl a whole lot. So what I did, ignore the mess I've got going on right here, is this has an input for auxiliary RCAs, and the tape player, the 8-track, had the RCA cables coming out from here. Like I said, it's broke. It doesn't even come on. So I just cut the RCAs off of it, and this also has a provision for external power. So if you come over here to my car harness, which I'm finishing up now, I kind of did a test dry run. I took the RCA cables I cut off, and each one of these have 2 wires. There's like an unshielded ground, and there's like a middle wire that does have a casing on it. So this stereo, if your stereo has RCA outputs, you can just use your RCA outputs. Mine didn't because it's missing the cable. It's just a cheap Chinese radio I had laying around. So what I did was I took my speaker wire. Where's it at? My speaker wire's here. So I have my 2 RCA cables, my left and my right. So I took the front right negative, rear right negative. So I took both my right negatives, hooked them into this uncased wire on one RCA cable, and I took both of my right positives, hooked it to the shielded wire on one of the RCA cables. So that's going to be my right speakers. So both front and rear, because this only has 2 speakers on it. So I tied both my fronts and my rears together on one channel. And then I did the same thing for the left. So my left positive goes to the shielded green wire here, and my left negative goes to the unshielded ground wire of this RCA cable. So what that's doing is that's combining the 2 outputs into these 2 RCA cables, and it plugs directly into the input of the vinyl player. Now when I switch the vinyl player over to the tape setting, it supplies power to this plug, and that'll bring you over to my wall outlet conversion I've got for the radio here. So the main thing you want to look for is you need some kind of adapter. Now the issue I'm running into with this one is if I have the radio itself cranked up to higher volumes, it draws too much amperage for this adapter, so I am going to upgrade it to a better adapter later. I'm not sure what this was for. It's just one I had laying around, some kind of some wall thing, I don't know. But the main thing you're looking for is your output, because you can't hook a car stereo directly into 120 volts. It's not going to work, and amperage and all that. You also need to have a direct current, not alternating current, which this right here, this line with the dash underneath, that's a direct current symbol. So this output is 12 volts, 3 amps. Car stereos can run anywhere between 11 volts to like 14.5 volts. That's around about what your car battery is going to be putting out. When your car is running, it's going to be closer to 14. When it's off, it's going to be close to should be closer to 12.3, but if your battery's low, it's going to be around 11-ish. So, and then the amperage, your radio is probably going to draw, it could draw anywhere from 2 amps all the way up to like 10 amps. 10 amps being extreme. Usually most car stereos have like a 10 amp fuse. So, say at a safe range, probably a 5 amp power supply would be ideal. This one's powering it, but when you go up to the higher voltage range, it's dropping off there. Now what I did do, however, is I got so I combined the memory wire and the power wire into one, and that's hooked up to the red cable on the wall outlet, and the ground wire is obviously soldered together on the ground unit. I'm going to tape all these up. The other wires I'm not using, I'm going to tape up. Like, it's got a bunch of different stuff, like their amp turn-on wire, other things of that nature, you know, illumination lamps, stuff that car application only. And this harness just plugs directly in the back of this radio. And I can just cut out a jagged hole because I don't have a good saw. I was using the Sawzall. And then I just have it like double-sided taped onto this. So double-sided tape to this. I'll probably build a bracket for it later, but for now this thing don't move around a lot, and it's in there pretty securely. So once I plug this harness all in, I can plug the power cord in the back of this, so it'll get its power from the wall when the unit's plugged in. Again, the RCA cables plug into my input on here, and then it goes from there. Now, if you don't have an input like this, which you could do, which I didn't want to do it because I wanted to be able to use it like a switch, so if the radio kicks on, it doesn't bleed over my actual record player. So you could actually splice the speaker outputs directly into the speakers on here, but like I said, I didn't want to have any kind of interference or anything, so I didn't go that route. I just did the, since this has an RCA input and I wanted to use the switching method, it says right there tape, I went ahead and went that route. That's what the back of the radio looks like again. Like I said, this is just a generic old touch screen that someone gave me that's got a cracked screen. It still works fine, so for this application, you know, from the front, this thing still looks like an old 70s vinyl player, and I got on the side here, kind of hidden away, a Bluetooth car stereo. It's got all the bells and whistles, so that's just kind of a sum up. I retrofitted this to Bluetooth. I'm going to start getting this thing buttoned back up. I just want to make a quick video while it's still in the process so I can show the wiring, and I'll clip in a video of when it's all together. Alright guys, so here's a follow-up to the record player that I retrofitted a car stereo to. I just want to give you a rundown of how it works. So essentially, I kind of briefly explained it in the last part that I'm going to clip in here. This tape deck has an RCA output that plugs into an RCA input on the back of this, and it also has an auxiliary power plug built into this unit to power this 8-track. So on this control panel here, sorry this thing's dirty, we've got the modes. We have the phono, which is our tape player, AM, FM stereo, and tape. So essentially when I turn this to tape, which it's already on right now, it'll switch over to the car stereo, and it'll supply power to the car stereo. And by the way, the volume and everything you can control separately on here. I kind of have the volume set up high, and then so I got it set to like 7, and then on the stereo itself I have it set to like 17. I noticed because of the power supply being smaller than what it should be for the radio, if I draw too much amperage from the radio, it shuts down due to lack of power. So I'll show you here. I've got my phone connected to it. I'm going to go ahead and play this royalty-free music here. Here's the radio on the side of it. So go ahead and play this. So that's kind of just a little demo here. And then I can go in, you can see, and it's got all of its little, features that it did originally, your apps and whatnot, so I could download different things. There's Pandora's already downloaded on here. I could just sign into my Pandora, or I can use Bluetooth. So like I said, right now I'm connected to my phone. So I can just go in here, and you can see kind of what's going on with that. So anyway, that's kind of just a brief rundown of this here. Go ahead and play this again. And that's going to be all for today's video. Hope you liked it. If you got any questions on this build or anything of that nature, just go ahead and let me know. Drop a comment down below, like, comment, subscribe. I know this isn't my normal content. I used to make videos similar to this back when I was younger. I just kind of threw this together as a fun late night project and wanted to share it with you guys. Thanks.